Hello everyone, and many thanks to the Westminster Education Forum for the invitation. It is indeed an honor to be talking here today, and I'm certain we will hear great contributions from a great range of experts. Now, given that we have very limited time to introduce our points and trying to be as brief and concise as possible, I will be using a couple of slides to aid my talking. So first, I will go through some key considerations, and in the second slide, I have summarized a few points moving forward. So as we see here in my first point, in one of their latest reports, the Institute of Environmental Management and Assessment, IEMA, found that only 13% of companies are confident that they can compete in a sustainable economy. And also over half of them reported that it is difficult to recruit candidates with sufficient expertise. And on the other hand, and I'm sure Charlotte Bonner will be better equipped with the relevant data from different surveys conducted over the past months, but we see that young people across the world are raising up, demanding governments and corporations to take action. I mean, they skip school so they can raise their voices. So the students want to know more, they want to know better, they want to be equipped so they can make a change, even more so after the pandemic, when social injustices of all sorts have been made more visible. So the global pandemic has been a global wake-up call also, or more strongly, for the youngest generations. Then we have the legally binding commitment to net zero by 2050, as well as the post-pandemic recovery plan, which is attached to a green industrial revolution. Well, we got to think that the ones now sitting in the classrooms will be the ones expected to drive action to accelerate change. So we must urge our educational institutions to update their programs so they reflect the reality the students will encounter moving forward in their careers. Because the more we wait, the more disruptive the transition to a carbon neutral economy will be. And at this point, I would also like to add that I personally don't like talking about the jobs of the future. I mean, the climate and social crises are very much a thing of the current moment. We are experiencing them now. So talking about the jobs of the future will only alienate the students. We should start adopting a more urgent language and relating our programs to the most immediate future of our learners. Then we have sustainable development goals. Well, more often than not, we see sustainability is being reduced to carbon emissions and biodiversity loss. And of course, they are crucial elements that we must tackle. But extreme poverty, global hunger, inequalities and gender gap, equal access to opportunities, all of them are part of the wider sustainability picture. And they are in fact the elephant in the room. I mean, for carbon emissions, for instance, people tend to think that planting trees and carbon capture technologies will solve the problem. But how do we end global poverty? How do we ensure that everyone has the same opportunities to thrive as opposed to grow? That requires systemic transformation and perhaps even change our core values as societies. And let's face it, that is scary. And then my last point in these slides, of course, we need sustainability experts with technical knowledge, but we also need many other transferable skills to allow capacity building across industries, such as communication skills, for instance, public speaking and storytelling, leadership, negotiating and persuasion skills, strategic view, critical and systems thinking, networking, stakeholders engagement, positive and can-do attitude, emotional intelligence. All of them are crucial and non-subject specific. So it is not only about hard skills. So how do we do it? How do we build educational programs that help tackling the most pressing environmental and societal issues of today? Well, first, we must acknowledge that we need top-down commitment that drives bottom-up action. I mean, without leadership teams leading the way and committing to institutional change, educational programs as such won't follow. And eventually, I think it is all a matter of priorities. I mean, sustainability must be in the leadership agenda, and it must be with a high priority label attached to it. Then another important point to raise today, I think, it is that lecturers don't feel prepared to deliver a curriculum with sustainability embedded. I mean, the latest teaching report evidence how teachers across disciplines, they show concerns for the climate emergency, and yet they wouldn't know where to start to make their courses and programs relevant for the 21st century. So for instance, in my current job, I'm upskilling lecturers across departments so they feel prepared to embed sustainability content into the curriculum. And what I find is that many of them, if not all of them, feel overwhelmed with it all. I mean, they very much want to tackle the problem from the classroom, but they are struggling to see the link between climate and social justice to what they actually teach. So we must bring expert sustainability voices on board to train the trainers. So we ensure they are given recognized training that is backed up by science and data, so they feel confident and empowered. Then involve local businesses, of course. I mean, because of two main reasons. First, because there are some excellent advances being made in technology, processes, and business strategy around sustainability that colleges can and should explore. And second, because education should always prepare the learner for the challenges the society faces. So unless we bring all stakeholders to the table, and that's students and businesses, our programs will fail in delivering relevant, current, valuable, and even fitting programs for the jobs of today. Then collaboration. Our societies are very much accustomed to work in silos and teams, be divided in departments. And more often than not, we are not aware of what our fellows are doing. It's been repeatedly proved that our societies and communities flourish when we talk to one another. Even more so during the pandemic, we've seen that. So we achieve greater things through collaboration and partnerships. Indeed, the Sustainable Development Goal number 17 is partnerships for the goals, because that's the only way forward. And then my last point, sustainability is not just the right thing to do anymore. I mean, there is an imperative business case for it, and organizations see that too. And climate and social justice have become a purpose of a whole generation. So the two main stakeholders in further education are indeed in. So why shouldn't we? We have a huge opportunity and a greater responsibility to change our way of living and doing business in the planet. And as educators, we must pursue that change through our programs. So this is it from me. It is really a shame I cannot join you all during the Q&A, but I'm more than happy to take any questions by email. So please feel free to get in touch. You have my email address here in the slide, or you can also connect on LinkedIn. So thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to hear the recordings of this session today. Thank you.